Mixed guppies, do you wanna see? Mixed guppies, I better believe. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. We're gonna give you a quick update of what's going on in the fish room. We have low water and cups that are out. Now we're cooking with gas. Look at this though. I have the garden lights back there. It kind of makes this into a landscape. I'm getting the algae under control. There's a mystery snail in there. There's little snake plants with the roots in. Those guys look up to no good. So I've been putting the spider plants in here. And it's because I've been very bad at watering these plants. So I'm just gonna work hard to get everyone's roots directly in the water. These plants give me some leadway, particularly this Monstera. It's like Christmas anytime I get new roots in my buckets, because that is like a free filter system. Pull that nitrate right on out. It comes out of the tap a little hot and pre-fertilized, so this works out. We also have tendrils going in each one of the tanks. That's knocking down the algae. If I could convince y'all to use bleach versus not bleach, I have to treat this tank. These two tanks were sick, and that made me sick. I was really fed up with this one, and I nuked it with bleach. Everyone's looking great. Everyone's looking fun. This tank I just let sit empty for months and months and months. I did not nuke it. I would say I'm paying for it. I didn't want to break the bank buying plants, and I'm paying for that. I have some plants. This billowing thing of pearlweed I recently found has scuds, but I went ahead and planted each one of my outside buckets with that. These guys are getting better. The dirt tanks, I would say, are the most well-behaved. Still, the pH keeps shooting up on this one and this one, up to 8, really. So I'll change the water, and I have a piece of wood sitting in there, and all you can see is me in the reflection. Got the mosquito fish in, a few of them. They make me curious. And they don't have a heater in there. And they grew tiny little flares on their eyes. They're sitting in copper. I see something on their lip, 2 of their lips. We did praziquantel, we put copper in there, a little bit of salt. But for some reason, I feel like I'm still missing it. So I think I'm gonna use Cyopro next. Let me know what y'all think. That's in the comments. Let me know what you think. Another tragedy for me is my giant Betta. I thought he was just angry at me because I had him in quarantine and kept laying down. And so I brought him out of quarantine, got a heater on this tank, brought this thing up to 80 degrees, and he has like a puffy cheek. Something is going on. And he had kind of a light salt experience when I first received him. And the fins are looking good. I thought he was being a goober, but something tells me that laying on the ground means something, and I'm thinking Epsom salt baths with a little stress guard. Anytime I go all out on medicine, I mess it up. I don't know if these guys have weak genes. Maybe they don't like my water. You know, if you see anything working in my tanks, they're hardy, because I'm on tap water. These red dragons acting a little slow. I'm gonna move them and observe them. Probably move them to warmer waters. I think they're sitting at 76 degrees. Put them at 78. Empty. Blue dream. Snails. Also blue dream in there. A fern. Some Balasnaria I'm trying to save. Red Riley. Whoa. No background on that one. Boo. You know, I catch one swimming like that. And I'm like, what is that? I've been treating them. They seem to have come from those platies, and there's just a group of them that come off really healthy and another group that I just catch swimming weird. So I'm hitting them with dewormer food. Same with the half black yellows. I'm kind of semi-treating them, stabbing around with salted food. The dark lagoon of the Daisy's rice fish. Black bar, selling like hotcakes. I think I've only got 6 mature males left. I might have to hold back on the male sales on these. As the population is lifted, it makes room for the babies. So I just noticed a lot more fry everywhere. What's here? I think more Dalmatian platies. Just a study case on why in the world this algae is gathering here. With all those floating plants, and then the guppy grass and the pothos roots, it's like, are they destroying each other for the algae to take place? I am fascinated. Why do I have algae there? When you come across a tank like this, you gotta feel it in your gut. Scuds. Scuds are messing with this tank. And then the pH is up. I'm seeing some flat ones in there. Keeping my eye, separating them out. Need to take another few out of here, it would seem. It's about time to switch the males and the females to mixed guppies. Do you wanna see mixed guppies? I better believe. Oh look, there's a black bar male in there. If I need a black bar, these are guppies and endlers. So guppy and endler mix. Planted some neos in each one of these. Babies. These are babies and they just grew so big, so quick. And those hybrids I thought were settling. Got that half black blue guy that looks different than the rest. Those genes are settling slower than I thought. This is where I'm gonna bring my autos next so they can cash in on some algae. And you know, when you see, that's another scud tank. I found scuds in this one, so that's how we are rolling off the plastic plants. The black Moscow. No, this is the black metal. That's the Moscow. There we go. Got Santa Maria female endlers. The French blue stars that came from outside. El Tiger endlers. Was bringing new genes in. She was acting weird, so I pulled her out of the tank. There's that feller. This is an intentional scud tank. Big ball of algae for everyone to eat. Otherwise, they feasted my friend Gary there. Black chocolate shrimp and little El Tigers. And they've dropped fry. And this is what that Home Depot gravel starts to look like. This one's doing well. Well, not well for the plants, unless you like hair algae. But the orange wiley are coming in nice. And I saw some uglacious ones that I culled out that weren't good examples of the dreamsicle dream, and they actually look better as they mature a little bit. So here, where is it? So orange Riley somewhere in this mixed tank. This tank got nuked by bleach. Looks so much better. Grab that plant out of a ditch here locally. Carolina wort, I think, is what the Seek app said. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Look at that. I've been getting a slew of comments in my Aquahuna video. It's been a year, and they're like, my fish have been great. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do have some for Aquahuna that are doing great, and it's these suckers. There's a dot on one of their heads, and I fed them praziquantel food, and it disappeared. So I'm guessing fluke? I don't ponder. Look, they're raising a guppy, too. I moved plants in there, and somehow a baby guppy got in there. You ever see a guppy raised by a clan of barbs and white clouds? There you have it. But I am happy, you know, the health level of these guys. I'll let you know if I successfully spawn. They're becoming pet status too. Just figured if a fish gets with you on that 3rd year mark, they are the pet. All right, another spawn of hybrid guppies, the intentional hybrid ones. I sold a bunch on the site today. So I'm really happy to see that there's good examples of the males. And in the description I said that, of course, the genes haven't settled yet. I'll see how the genes settle here. And if the people who happen to buy this fish, they will also, alongside me, watch the genes settle. This guppy was raised by Scuds. He was the only guppy in a scud tank, and I think he looks kind of neat. These are outdoor, got pretty cold and surprised me. Outdoor endlers, got a Daisy's rice fish in there. Got a Betta, King Betta in quarantine, and another Betta. And I plan on putting these in new tanks. They just really need to get out of the quarantine area. You can see how it kind of you'll naturally end up favoring the waist up compared to the fellers down here. This I left the top open. That's why it's evaporated so much. So I can go ahead and show y'all what I do with that. Dusty, trusty trash can. See, this comes from the back room, and this fuels the fire that I desire. And then right here, we got Old Faithful. Get on out of here. You don't even have to turn on the hose. Boy, they are excited, aren't they? You know, since we're talking about treating betas, I saw some nipped fins like this, and it all got better when I did 80 degree water, and then what was it, 2.5 teaspoons of salt. So I was coming in too hot for treating bettas, and I've had a lot more luck with this. Now I've got him laying down, which is not my cup of tea, but other than that, I think I've avoided some ailments. These fins look a little bit better. You just like, once the fins go, I'm just paranoid. You know, I don't have a lot of faith in the later stages of treating the bettas either. There's a lot of fish I've brought back from the brink, and when the bettas go on the brink, it seems like I'm only slowing the inevitable, and it always seems to come once you get past a certain point. So I definitely always try to catch this at the beginning. And then the medication arc for these guys seem to be a little different, a little more sensitive. And in some ways, I feel like I'm still feeling that out. Whereas with these live bearers, I just rip and roar through every medicine and end up saving like 70, 85% of the die-off. Look at those rosy barbs. I'll try to keep an eye on that. Nothing you can say here except real estate for the autos. I'm not sure. I'll probably bring a video of what this looked like, but I have the auto clan. They have eaten everything up. I've been giving it daily Bacter AE, and I'm just gonna have to move them to an algae laden tank because it's tricky not to starve an auto. Green dragon. Got a mystery snail trying to help with the algae issue going on. Mixed shrimp too. So you see shrimp like that, see shrimp like that, which sometimes makes shrimp like that or that. We've got green dragon, and the male went somewhere. We have so many tanks with green dragon. They just breed so prolifically. I had no idea. What a blast, because their color is just awesome. But the male disappeared. What happened, I do not know. I don't think he could get over that. But the big fin fish, there's no way they're getting over that. I see a check valve back there. I don't see a... When you have a missing fish, I always assume they somehow just popped out the top. Probably speed that up with the hose. Overselling the greens. Algae is going down. Had no idea I still had a Java fern. There's a red dragons in here, acting a lot different. You know, I need to check that tank. Certainly need to check that tank and make sure the parameters are okay. They're just like moving slower than they should. It makes me think the rocks make the pH like it did this tank. Now this tank, I like to have tanks with differing pHs because plants seem to do better. See, my frog bit has decided, hey, this is okay. I'm not sure if that's that might be a light thing. Could be a pH thing. I would love to keep my mystery snails in a high pH zone. But anyways, look at these red dragons, and they're just there's like a different pulse to them. Makes my spidey senses go off. And I need to get that Anubis out of there. More Dalmatians. These are all my males. Came from the pond. L tigers and unknown females. I'm hoping these are L tiger females. And a sit crew, remnants. Bleach tank. Yet to decide what to put in there. Giant coolie loach, just chilling. There's a red cherry shrimp in here. I wonder if I have enough to breed, but we have black bar. And then scud, there's scud. When there's a scud presence, you know, instead of just destroying it, I try to put a big ball of hair algae in there. I try to continue to put fish in there. I'll put shrimp in there and try to make this tank serve many purposes other than just scud. That's kind of my backup food source, is a big ball of algae. I used to use plant roots, and you can see I oversold in this tank because it's primarily a scud tank, or it's all scuds. We also got some of those white pond snails going on in here for sale. They're sprinkled everywhere, but there's a strong presence of the cat-eared pond snails as well. But anyways, the roots grow nice and thick, and they're left alone when the scuds are on a rebound. You can tell that we need a population bounce back, and that's not going to be a reliable tank to sell scuds from because the herd's been thinned out. I have not found a way to hand pick the scuds out of a tank. I don't like the water spangles. It's very hit or miss for me. Outside it seems to be hit or miss as well, but yeah, they seem to get humid on top, and I'm wondering if it's because I'm burning them. See, these don't seem burned. Those don't seem, I don't know. Water spangles, a little frustrating. Oh my gosh, those snails freaked me out. they were doing something snaily. Oh look, they're bathing. That's not what they're doing. They're doing something snaily. I thought it was a leech. I've dealt with snail leeches in one of my tanks. I have to show y'all. But the good thing about that is, they're like, oh my. There's no snails. You know, I catch them eating my plants sometimes, especially the pond snails. And then I would say the ram's horn snails are kind of sneakers. It goes without saying, the fancy snails, the mystery snails, they're going to eat everything. So that's why I've got them in these heavy algae tanks in an attempt to control what's going on. But so any plants with the mystery snail, I'm just playing fast, loose, and wild, because I can't seem in the past. They eat the algae first, they eat the plants second. And kind of like with the scuds, if you put lots of algae in there, the plants will come back. And I have no idea what's going on with this pearlweed. I could give you the complete guide to scuds. I thought for sure the scuds would eat everything in here, and they seem to be treating this like outdoors, where there's a huge population. They've gnawed off any source of algae, but they've completely left the pearlweed alone. And it makes me wonder what this tank would look like if I put a few scuds in there. There's a strange equilibrium thing going on. This is like a bus of a fish and just poops so much. Look at the poop everywhere. And I would say that's, I have small little critters in here and I can't swish a net through here. So it'll be kind of a gentle siphon off the sand cap. And this mold builds up in a fantastic way on all tanks, but particularly as I don't mess with it in the dirt tanks, has a special way of building up. Had the snail leeches in here, and they are gross, which makes me think the black things that I found that Reddit told me were snail leeches, I think are fly larvae? Sewer fly larvae, is that correct? Sewer flies look like little gnats.
If you're horrified, me too. I'm gonna save the preach about the leech for a different video, but I had to ferociously hunt these guys down, drop them in alcohol. It's only going on in 3 tanks out of 46, but I'm still creeped. I think they came in on plants. Did you know that they were live bearing?
Oh.
Me either. So that's a good reason to not go swimming in your own fish tank.
All right. Oh my gosh, this whole video could just be equilibrium and you. I feel like I've got like 6 videos in one. I was able to unfold that with my teeth. That tripod, that is pro level. There you go. What else? Now that I've made an appropriate mess. Not too bad. Stopped it before it hit the floor. Hey-o, hey-o. Did I tell you about every tank? We got empty, 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 and empty. Do something with those as well. Got a lot of room. Look at that goober. You know, he's got a short body. Certainly not breeding standard. I just like him. So I'm really hooked to the idea of outdoor plants. I feel like they filter a lot quicker. If they're above ground and they are breathing the same air as you, I just find them to be able to change the water more quickly. I would say 3 or 4 days of tap water. Being in this thing, I will watch the nitrates go to 0. If ammonia is detected outside the tap water, I'll watch the ammonia go through nitrite and the nitrate, and then go to 0. I knew that was going to happen. But look how much better. There we go. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. Okay, so the best way is just to kind of gently lay your drying medium right across the spill so I don't swish it to the floor. There we go. Probably have to do a training video on my hose system. But these cannonballs keep the hose from cutting off my plants. The hose will often beat up these plants. With the little cannonball, it has something to keep the hose from tightening around it.
This has been another episode of Brenton's Fish, but we don't have to stop there. I sell pet fish and pet fish accessories at brentonsfish.com. I also run Brenton's TV and Brenton's Video Games, the 2 sister channels of Brenton's Fish. These days, the fish bear most of that burden. Until next time, fish keepers. Until next time.
join us. Please join us. Please join us.
Join us.